Hello and welcome to our review of WWE SummerSlam 2024. Oh, we have a new champion once again. And the champ is the one on my t-shirt right now. And he's seated to my left.
Ooh.
With 6 points, because me and Callum both got 4 points.
Yeah, boy.
And once again, just like King and Queen of the Ring, the key to your success is Nia Jax.
Yes.
Yeah. But, yes.
Boy.
SummerSlam 2024, for initial thoughts. I think I'm going to go first on this one. I have two main things to say about this show. Firstly, if we're talking about the matches, I thought this was an all-time standout show. I thought everything delivered. I was a big fan of it. But if we include everything else, I think this show had a lot of very clumsy fat on it when it comes to the musical performance thing, the whole extra bit with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller and all that shit, and then all the advertisements and everything that was basically surrounding the matches. That for me was the biggest negative, apart from obviously the Judgment Day promos. Those were great, but for the most part, a lot of that extra stuff I wasn't the biggest fan of. But in regards to the main course of the show, I thought this was an exceptional premium live event. I loved almost every match. I thought it was very consistent, and some of the best moments in the show were bloody brilliant. Yeah, I was very happy when the show ended. Very, very happy. Callum, what were your thoughts?
Going into the show, I felt there was a very big potential for the show to deliver big time and be a legitimately really great SummerSlam. Coming out of it, after all the matches and the show overall, I think this probably one of the best SummerSlams of all. Ultimately, some really great matches, really great results. Every match I think delivered somewhat, and I think there were some great moments built off long-term storytelling that were very satisfying. I think this show fucking rules. And we'll talk about it as we go on. But yeah, this show was fucking great. This is really good. It was a real feel-good show.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably a top 3 SummerSlam of all time, up there with 2002 and 2000 are the other ones I would think of. This was a brilliant show. Regan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the same as you guys. I thought it was a great show. I thought it was going to be so hard it was really hard to predict the matches, so I'm surprised that many titles changed and all the stuff that happened. It was really good. I loved all the Judgment Day stuff.
Oh, yeah. It was jam-packed.
John turned heel when he's already a heel.
Yeah, because we said before about some of those B shows feeling a little like they are enjoyable, but they definitely have a predictable element. But when it comes to the big shows like WrestleMania and SummerSlam, for example, I think you can definitely tell it's different. There is an extra level of effort put into the booking when it comes to those massive A shows. And this SummerSlam gave me it gave me very similar feelings to WrestleMania Night 2. In terms of how it was booked, it was very similar. And that is a very good thing. 2 very exceptional nights of wrestling, both happened this year. But also, yeah.
Those referee cams, that's hilarious. The footage they've released. They've released all the Seth Rollins footage, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah, very funny. So before we get into the matches, are both of you, do you kind of see eye to eye with me on what I mean by some of the fat on the show was a bit iffy? I wouldn't say there was anything that was
jelly roll, chokeslam, Austin Theory.
I wouldn't say it was outright terrible, but it was just it was definitely not as good as the matches.
And why did Miz need to be the host? He did like nothing.
Yeah, and I always say this, but like
that?
this show also had some very distracting product placement in terms of what, like, where it was placed, and like the colors they used. There was some very, very distracting product placement. It was annoying because I was trying to get immersed in the story,
Yeah, like
and sometimes they would. Yeah, well, I was trying to get immersed in some of the stories, and they'd stick this big fucking logo on the screen. Especially there was that one match where it was this big green square, and it was so just like taking all my attention away from the match. So yeah, unfortunately, that is a bit of an annoyance for me. Yeah, but I mean, some of it worked. Like, you know, when it comes to putting logos on the mat and putting things around the banners, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just when it becomes invasive to the narrative, that's when I get a little pissed off. And then when they also have these WWE Network ads that go on for like 5 minutes. Like whenever they show behind the curtain on these shows, it just goes on for ages and ages and ages. Like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, I mean, I don't really care much for Jelly Roll, so whatever.
Use the toilets, so.
That is true. I was actually thinking that Triple H has probably thought, oh, we don't want any of these matches to be bathroom breaks, so we will make the ad breaks the bathroom breaks.
Because that's what it was like being at the Elimination Chamber. You're like, okay, crap, how long do I have to get up and run and get back? Because you don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
So they need to run those promo packages and stuff.
Have you guys seen those memes of Stephanie McMahon? It's like that shot of her in the crowd, like clapping and smiling, and there's been lots of memes going around of like, oh, it's just funny.
It's weird that she would watch it in the crowd.
Well, she's not officially part of the company. She doesn't have a job there. She's just a fan.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's more of like she's like
all the Vince stuff.
Oh, that was around the time that she resigned. Yeah, but no, she's just spending more time with the family. But she's still a big fan of the product, and you know, she has special privileges because of her family ties to the company.
Well, because of her husband.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, obviously her father and grandfather owned the company as well. Like, that's a big part of it.
Well, yeah, no one's going to stop her from going.
Yeah, and she hasn't Shane McMahoned herself. She hasn't gotten herself exiled. But I mean, Stephanie's very well liked there, so you know, makes sense. But yeah, Triple H introduced the show, and Jelly Roll did his silly little song, and then we got on to the matches. And we started with Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan with Dominic Mysterio. And I thought this was great fun. I fucking loved this. This was just the perfect story to tell of deception within Dominic's character. The whole thing they did, I mean, I've noticed this in a lot of recent matches. They did this in Ospreay vs MJF, but the focus on a dislocated shoulder as part of the match's story, and the way Ripley ran herself into the announcer's desk to push the shoulder back. How it went. How the commentators made sure to remind you that the last person to beat Ripley one-on-one is Liv Morgan. They kind of set up the history between them very well. There was a lot of great, you know, back and forth chemistry between the two, and Dom's betrayal at the end was just fabulous. I thought this was a great time.
Yeah, that was a great match.
Yeah. Just a great story. Just a great fun story. And
do you
also,
think she worked it, or do you think she did have a dislocated, like, do you think it popped out?
Well, it was definitely planned.
It was worked.
Yeah, definitely worked, yeah.
God, either way, she did a hell of a job selling it. Because,
oh yeah. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. And also, one other detail I want to mention is that I've always loved this about outdoor shows, about how the first match is in daylight. It has that dusk feeling to it, and it's just, I love the way wrestling shows look in that at that time of day. Like, you can see, it's not like the lights in the arena. You can see clearly like the natural color of people's skin and all that. Like, it's just real. I just like the way that outdoor stadiums in the daylight look. At the start of shows, when the sun's not like blinding everything, but it's bright enough where you can see everything without lights. Yeah.
The best version of that for me is Mania 31, when half the show's in daylight and then sun sets and then it's night by the main event.
Yeah, I think it's probably it's probably a bit too bright at the start, especially during the pre-show. But at a point, I think probably after it's when you get to the Sting Triple H matches when the lighting peaks for me. It's that kind of dusk.
For me, it was the one I remember most is it being just bright daylight during the Seth Orton RKO.
It is,
Curve
yeah.
Stomp RKO. That is always rent free in my head.
Very sunny California. Yeah. Because this was in Cleveland. But yeah, Callum, what were your thoughts on Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan?
I thought this match was really good. I thought Rhea Ripley sold the hell out of her worked, injured, dislocated shoulder, and having her have a moment where she literally bashes it back into place using the commentary desk was bloody awesome. I was thinking about this earlier, like this week, how her joining the Judgment Day and having this character now for over 2.5 years, it's like she's now on the level of someone like a Steve Austin with the amount of volume in the crowd's reactions to her. Like, bloody hell, her walking out on Raw, the pop was insane. Like, the level of the volume was just like crazy.
She's had a full on babyface turn now.
Before this character, like after Mania 38, she was going nowhere really. She was always a good wrestler and she was always, displayed relatively well. But man, this character change that she had 2.5 years ago is a masterstroke, because we now have a women's wrestler who is like legitimately as over as some of like the best male talent the company's had.
Yeah, it's ever since Triple H took over. Ever since Trips took over, she's completely changed for the better.
And then in the same vein with Dom,
yeah,
it's funny now, this has been a whole journey from Trips' first kind of show, in Clash of the Castle, like that was his first proper build and show, and it started really with the turn of Dominic Mysterio to now this sort of nearly 2-year journey that he's had as a wrestler and a character and Judgment Day as a whole. It's quite, and as the reports have come out, the whole group were very emotional backstage, because this is kind of the end of that version of the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
and that's sort of the end of
the undercard of the show.
Dom.
The undercard of the show before the last match was all about the Judgment Day. It was their show, really.
Oh yeah, their story was very much on display in this match and in the other match as well.
And all the promos in between.
Yeah, really good, overarching narrative during the show, which is always, those kind of things I always bloody enjoy. But the match itself, I thought was really good. I thought it was a well-built up to match. I thought the story they told in the match with Rhea's shoulder was real good. And I think the finish was done expertly. I had a smile as big as Dom's after the match when I clocked that this is the turn. He's turning heel. He's done that on purpose. And then his look after Rhea loses is just priceless. And then you got the big reveal of them of Liv and Dom snogging the hell out of each other and Rhea breaking down, which generally is like a really good acting. Like the acting for good. Oh
god, we got a robot.
We got a robot. And now we've got a dead robot.
Rotterdam then.
Yep.
Are we back?
There you go. As I was saying, I think the whole build to this match was great. The match itself was great. The finish was great. Just everything about the finish I just really loved, because I knew that Dom was turning heel after he stood in the same way as the was it Crown Jewel or was no? It's King and Queen of the Ring. That's what she named. Where he accidentally let Liv win, but this time round it's very much on purpose, and the look on his face is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure it was
and this segment was done well.
Pretty sure it was Pat McAfee that said, "Dom, you piece of shit."
Yeah, and then Cole called Dom a son of a bitch.
Yeah. And immediately after that, we got a Judgment Day promo, and this kind of starts the this is the fall, right? This is Rhea Ripley's lost this match. Dom has turned on her, and now the Judgment Day is falling apart. And it's, they're very much saying like, you know what, Priest, we can still do this. You can still carry this. You can still hold it together. But obviously foreshadowing what was to come. But excellent stuff. I was very, very happy with how this went. Just a great story. And then we got an absolutely explosive stick of TNT, which was Bron Breakker versus Sami Zayn. And finally, Bron Breakker has won the Intercontinental Championship. Basically, Bron Breakker made up for his mistakes that he made at Money in the Bank. He didn't do the dumb shit that he did last time. Realized that he needed to actually get his head in the game and focus on what he was doing, and he absolutely steamrolled him and demolished him, and now he's the champion. It was fun. Big burst.
Yeah, if there's one match on the card I think probably should have had a couple more minutes, I think it's probably this match with the story they were trying to tell. Because I feel like the finish kind of does come out of nowhere, and I think there was more mileage in having an extra couple minutes to have really sell the aspect that Bron has learned lessons in his loss.
Callum, we gotta have time for Jelly Roll's performance, though.
I think it's fine that it was a squash match, because he just did what he needed to do and didn't muck around.
Well, the story they were trying to tell, I think, throughout this whole build was Braun learning his lessons, and I think the not playing on the finish of the Money in the Bank match, I feel like, does make it feel like the finish came out of nowhere. And it's like matches like the main event that probably you could slice a couple minutes off, because I've got a little few words on that match. But this was still the right decision. This was a decent match, I think, overall. I think the two guys are excellent. 6 minutes, I think, is just too short. I would probably have it go 8 or 10 to really sell the story they were trying to tell. But I think, again, right decision. And I'll say this about the whole show itself, with the amount of title changes. It generally feels like the product is a lot fresher now than it has been since before Mania, really. Which I think was very much needed. So I think this is, the first of many really good decisions on this show.
They're starting to really utilize their NXT call-ups now.
And hey, they're going to have a 2 out of 3 Falls match tomorrow. So hopefully that's real good. So I'm wondering what Bron's first real challenger is going to be. I can't remember if he had an inkling of who it might be on Raw this week, but that should hopefully they give that
match.
Hopefully they give that match some good time. 2 out of 3 falls. go half an hour or so. I don't care. Just go for it. But yeah, I think Braun is absolutely the right winner. I think it's the right time for the reign to end. I think Sami had a really good reign, a lot of really good matches.
His dad and his uncle were in the skybox as well, watching the match. That was cool.
I literally just watched a Scott Steiner triple threat match like half an hour ago. So
yeah, but they were definitely emotional for that match. Seeing Braun finally have his moment.
Yeah, hopefully, I think Braun gets some good, because this belt, I think, like since Gunther won it, it's now been put on a level of what it was represented as before, it really being the Workman's Championship, and I think it being a division where you can have really hard-hitting matches with Braun and Dragunov and some others coming up. You know, some maybe like the Creed brothers, one of them, when they eventually get a singles push. And a whole bunch of other guys on the roster, like, you know, Bronson Reed, you know, after his sort of angle on Raw, really pushing him to that really great.
The issue with what you're saying, though, is you're naming all these heel wrestlers, and Braun Breaker is also a heel, so they're not going to do that right now.
No. Well, Dragunov isn't a heel. You can have him go up against
true.
Breaker.
You can have Ilya Dragunov, yes. Yeah.
And I think eventually down the road, because Breaker's been on the roster since, like, what, February, March?
Yeah, around about there.
I think eventually you can turn him, because was he heel when he first came in NXT initially, or was he a face?
No.
I can't remember.
No, he was face first. He turned heel after.
I think there's mileage and eventually...
he turned heel after the Ziggler feud.
Yes, he did, yeah. I remember that. So I think there's mileage in a eventually Breaker, because of Breaker is just, you know, really cool and he's got great moveset and great intensity. Eventually you can have him turn face in like a year or so.
Yeah.
When you
it's just that when he was in NXT, his babyface run ran out of steam, and he organically got turned heel by the crowd.
Yeah, but eventually I think that will turn around eventually when you give him great matches. You know, eventually people get him over again.
Yeah, well,
I think people are very on board with him being, you know, Intercontinental champion.
Yeah,
I think Zayn on the flip side, I think with Zayn, he can now eventually work his way up to the world title, especially with Gunther being world champion now.
Yeah.
I think at some point they need to have him win the belt at some point over the next year, because Sami as world champion, I think, is been long overdue.
What's a bucket list thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Him having this really good title reign, and obviously the one beating Gunther at Mania, I think he's slowly and surely getting over as a singles guy again, to a point where him being a world champion is very feasible, which I'm very happy about, because Sami Zayn is fucking great and he should be world champion at some point.
Yeah, Vince McMahon just didn't want him to be champion.
No, he was a joke. He was a jokey conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
As fun as that was, because Zayn is great, but yeah.
Well, speaking of mid-card titles that have been elevated by Triple H booking, the next match is another title that's had the same thing, but in a slightly different way, and that is the United States Championship. Not necessarily the Workman's title, but it has been elevated by prominence.
In a sense, because let's be real, this Logan Paul title reign, on paper, would have been really cool, because, you know, he's a scumbag, and, you know, the title being on a scumbag who's, like, got major heat. Yeah, that'd be real great. But he only had 2 title defenses in the whole reign before this past weekend.
Part-timer curse.
So, but it's part-timer, like, to the, like, extreme, because I feel like even Brock, when he was world champion for both WWE and Universal, I feel like he defended it more in a time frame.
The reason Yeah, but the reason why they did that is because they decided to have him face Cody Rhodes in Saudi Arabia for the world title.
Oh no, yeah, but he still could fucking defend it every 2 months. He's under contract. Like, come on. I feel like this title reign I think it's kind of been botched. As good as Logan is, like in ring, this title reign has been really botched, I'd say.
But at the same time,
I'm glad it's off him now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It shouldn't have gone longer than it did, and this was the right time to get put on LA Knight.
I was fine with it going to SummerSlam. He just had to defend it more. He wasn't around as much as he really should have been. And I feel like if you asked him to do it, he probably would have.
However, even in saying that, people do respect that belt regardless of the fact that he didn't defend it that often. It is regarded fairly well by fans.
I think that's easier to say that now that it's off of him and on Knight, who has organically been over for 2 years. And we've been begging for Trips to do something with Knight and put a belt on him, because Knight with a belt has been long overdue for like over a year now.
And the US title seemed to be the right fit. It seemed to be the right fit for him too. It just seemed like that was the one.
Yeah, for him for the next like year. Because I think Knight as world champion has some mileage to it, but obviously compared to a lot of the top talent, he is not as gifted as others, but I think he's still very good in the ring. So now having him with this belt, I think is the absolutely right decision. And you saw on SmackDown, the dude is incredibly over and has some amazing mic work. Like,
he does.
It's no-brainer to put the belt on him.
But with all that said, the match itself, Regan, what did you think of Logan Paul versus LA Knight?
I thought the match was great. I like every match that Logan is in. I mean, holy hell. The bloody jump backwards onto the... Jump forward... No, he jumped backwards onto the... You know the move I'm talking about, when he jumped onto the ropes and did that springboard.
Yeah,
holy hell.
He did a 180-degree jump onto the ropes and then moonsaulted to the floor. And it was done very quickly.
That was incredible.
I've seen other people do that move, but not with that much velocity. That was the execution is what made it different. And Logan Paul said, and he said that he's never doing that again. Like he's
never doing it again. Yeah.
The margin for error was too tiny.
He had the Undertaker on Impulsive. He said he's never doing that again. But
the Undertaker,
incredible move.
Yeah.
What a match. I mean, I think
he said he spent like a collective total of like 20 hours he spent like 20 hours over months practicing it.
Yeah,
on pads.
onto crash pads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the videos. He's just so good.
It's crazy bastard.
My goodness.
But the crowd was also really hot for this match as well. Interesting.
I don't know why he came out first. In the IC match as well, because they pick and choose. I thought for title matches they're supposed to announce them in the ring.
Yeah,
they did for the women's match, but then for the IC and the US match, they just announced them.
They usually only do it if it's a world title match, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought it would be for every title match.
They've never cared to keep up that tradition.
I guess it's too much time of no one talking and walking down. So,
although I will say in AEW they do that with almost every championship. They will try to have it announced in the ring.
But it was weird that the champ came out first.
Yeah, it is strange, but there's a reason why they did that. It's because of the whole. They wanted to do the whole Machine Gun Kelly entrance and then have him go into the crowd and then have LA Knight come out. I think it's also... I don't know if I've ever explained this to you, Regan, but WWE has done this before. It's not always about the champion coming out second. It's about who's going to get the biggest pop that comes out second, usually. And I think they knew that LA Knight was going to get a big reaction. And that may have been why they chose that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very enjoyable match.
There's no
I
set
knew he
rules.
was going to win. I should have bloody picked it, but still, no, it was a good match.
Yeah. I thought that there was a very good mix of athleticism and also, you know, shit talking and involvement from Logan's friends. A lot of shenanigans. LA Knight was basically just, he was being an Attitude Era wrestler all night, not only in the match, but on the press conference. He was hilarious.
That was hilarious. He told someone to shut up because you've had too much to drink, and then it was CM Punk.
Yep. But yeah, no, I thought this was great fun, and yeah, I'm so happy that LA Knight's champion. What, the blunt force trauma?
Oh, that's what it stands for.
I mean, it's a
good match.
it's like his version of the Stone Cold Stunner, I guess. And then there's also that other movie he does, which is like the People's Elbow. But yes, I did enjoy this match. Callum, what were your thoughts on the match itself?
Oh, well, the match is good. There was no real doubt that the match was going to be entertaining. I'm just glad that Knight has won. That's really all I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I'm curious to see what they do with Logan Paul now, actually. Now that he's lost the belt.
I hope he gets fired.
Okay.
They won't happen.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, by the way.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
There's a lot of lawsuits coming his way, you know. That's the
There is. But that's not new for this company.
Yeah.
That is not new for this company.
No, hush, hush.
As long as it doesn't
pay all the lawsuits off.
Listen,
he has lots of money.
Listen, as long as it doesn't affect WWE's business, they won't give a shit what lawsuits come his way.
He probably definitely will lose one, like, because of his comments on that weekend. The person that he was talking shit to has now won Olympic gold, which is quite funny.
It is interesting how what was it, the Prime drink is getting sued because of all the chemicals in it, and it's one of WWE's big sponsors.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA Knight vs Logan Paul was a great time. I had a lot of fun. And then we got a really stupid ad for some shaving thing with Otis, which was just annoying.
No,
and
Manscaped. Manscaped. That's
Manscaped.
You know what's so funny? Manscaped is such a YouTube advertisement thing, and
but
seeing it on actually a television thing is actually quite surreal. Manscaped's been around for like years.
Yeah, I know.
Also, you always hear it on podcasts. They have it as their ads, or on YouTube.
Yeah, I think I remember. I specifically remember hearing Steve Austin telling me to use ball toner.
It was honestly though, I thought the ad was very funny.
Nah, that's.
I think Otis is a very funny person.
He is a funny person, but I just don't like the forced ads. I can't stand it.
And why the hell did Maxime call him Otis?
That's the she always calls him Otis.
Yeah, because she's a fashion model.
I've never heard that. I've never heard her say
It's just like how they had Mason Mansour and they changed them to Marseille and Mansoir, make them sound French.
Otis.
And wasn't there another person, Dupree?
Max Dupree
years ago.
Well, that was LA Knight. He was Max Dupree.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Vince McMahon repackaged LA Knight as Max Dupree when he called him up to the main roster, and he made him a manager. He said, "Oh, he's too old to be in the ring. Let's make him a manager and make him a fashion expert." Fucking that prick!
Do you know what this ad also made me remember?
Is Dupree related to Max Dupree? Like in universe, are they supposed to be related?
I think in
kayfabe, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I assume they're brother and sister, maybe.
I can't remember because it was was during Vince's era, and it wasn't good. When it could have been quite fun.
I wasn't watching. I really wasn't watching. I didn't want to watch.
No. Yeah. But you know what this made me remember? The fact that Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin are a tag team.
Yeah. That's.
Apparently, Corbin is a face at the moment.
Remember in was it NXT Takeover? They had a match, and he was telling Apollo Crews to go back to Ring of Honor, even though he's never wrestled there.
That's quite funny.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like the Baron knew that, and that's those kind of comments are always very funny.
Well, he was parodying.
Didn't Steiner do that once or something? Or am I thinking
Probably.
of someone wishing he said that?
Maybe. I mean, Baron
Go
Corbin
back to Ring of Honor.
Baron Corbin was parodying the Fed drones there.
Yeah.
And the reason why he was doing that is because all of the indie smarks online at the time hated Baron Corbin because he's a football player.
Oh yeah, football player turned wrestler.
He's a product of the Performance Center, so they're like, oh, he's not one of my indie darlings. So then Baron Corbin turned it.
One of my indie darlings.
He turned it back on them and basically just shit on all the indie darlings, like Apollo Crews. Anyway, we had. Speaking of NXT Takeover, we had Bayley versus Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. Yeah, I'll let Regan go first with this one, considering you predicted it correctly, and that's why you're the champion again.
Sponsored by Valorant.
I mean, it was what I predicted. I mean, I figured that was going to happen. I mean, it was the match was all right. I mean, Nia looked like a monster heel. Tiffany got her 5 minutes. Obviously, she wasn't going to cash in.
Obviously, I mean, Bayley's a great seller as always. You know, she's very reliably consistent.
God. A Bayley to belly is such a stupid move, and it looked like it didn't even do anything. She barely was able to do it to Nia.
Maybe it's just a really powerful hug.
Well, she even said she's not Hugger Bayley anymore. So why does she still use it?
She came out as Hugger Bayley though. She had the tassels and everything.
Did she?
But she did not have the ponytail and she did not have the music, so it's only half-assed, which is why she didn't win.
She's never wacky, wavy, and
if you had seen, I haven't seen it in a long time, but if you have seen Bayley's match with Nia Jax at TakeOver London, then this match was very similar to it.
It was, yes.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Although Nia Jax is a lot better now than she was then in ring. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ, so much better.
Bayley had to carry her during that NXT match.
Yeah, the story of this match is Nia, you used to injure a lot of people in the past. You're an unsafe worker.
She had a boring title reign. They didn't really do much with her, which wasn't very good.
Bayley deserves a lot better because she's great.
I mean, she won the Rumble, and then she wasn't at that Vegas event for Mania.
Yeah.
Bayley deserves a lot.
Now I just want to see what happens with the briefcase, because I don't think she's going to cash in on Nia.
Well, that's what they want you to believe.
Yeah, because they're besties.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Someone big would have to really beat Nia up for her to cash in on her. So.
My one issue with this finish is that it actually is kind of relatively clean, because after Tiffany came down, Bayley pretty much took her out and then was still on top for like a couple seconds. Then Nia reversed and then won. So it wasn't that screwy as I probably would like to keep Bayley relatively strong.
Well, Callum, they don't want it. Maybe they don't want to do that.
No, probably not, which is fine. It is what it is. I'm very glad I didn't cash in, because back-to-back SummerSlam women cash-ins would have been annoying.
Yeah, and also Tiffany needs more time with the briefcase.
Yeah, she is not ready for the belt yet.
No.
She needs a good couple months before she cashes in.
Yep.
If we say that and then wait until she cashes in.
I also think it's great that they've given Nia the bonsai drop. It definitely suits her. Which people forget that Yokozuna was also Samoan, not Japanese.
No, what do you mean? I thought he was a Japanese sumo wrestler. What do you mean wrestling's fake? He was definitely a sumo wrestler.
Vince McMahon and his cultural appropriation. As always. Oh, you're bringing like a sumo wrestler. You're gonna come out as Yokozuna. Anyway, immediately after this was the best thing on the show, as we all predicted it would be. And that was Seth Rollins as special guest referee for Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. I will echo what Triple H said on the press conference. I think this was a masterpiece of storytelling. I loved this.
Mm-hmm.
Every detail.
This is my favorite thing on the show.
Yeah, every detail,
Hilarious.
every nook and cranny, all the shit talking, all the bickering, the bracelet as the what do they call it? The MacGuffin of the match.
Yes, it's a MacGuffin. Yeah.
The commentary did a great job of telling the story between them. The facial expressions, the acting, the booking, the pacing, the athleticism. It just worked. Everything happened exactly as it needed to. It was amazing, and the crowd was white hot as well. I can't think of a single thing about this match I didn't like. I thought it was amazing.
Thank God they had a
Still
special guest
go.
ref. Because if that was a normal referee, it just wouldn't have been the same.
Seth Rollins being the chaotic referee,
I mean, Seth was hilarious.
actually trying to maintain order, but because of the egos of the men in the match not being allowed to, was amazing. What a genius
Not
way
counting
of
them out.
just what an amazing way of using the special guest referee stipulation is by having it not be a screwy ref, but by having it be two insecure wrestlers worried about the ref, causing the ref to not be impartial. And McIntyre is an absolute Chad. The finish was a tragedy, and it was amazing. Even down to like the attires, like they all wore like really awesome gear in the match.
Yeah, well, it was a. What did they say? It was a homage to the other match.
Brett
Yeah, it was-
97,
The
wasn't
Bret
it?
Hart Shawn match.
Yeah, it was just
Not the result I wanted, but I knew it was going to happen. What a great match, though.
What a great story. Like, yeah, as you say, not the result you're cheering for, but it's the tragedy of the match, right? The tragedy of McIntyre beating
Yeah.
Punk. It's so compelling.
Yeah, watching all the clips on Twitter from the ref cam was just hilarious.
And also, like, it makes sense. Punk has been injured. He has not competed in a high-profile singles match in almost a year since Wembley. Like, in kayfabe, he's not at 100%. He's also older and weaker. Like, there's just so many reasons why this all worked.
Brewing Drew.
Yeah, and also, CM Punk screwed himself by doubting Seth Rollins' ability as a referee and being distracted by his dearly beloved bracelet.
A bracelet.
Yeah. It was
Just
just...
him a GTS.
Yeah. There was so many highlights as well. Like, just so many great little moments. Yeah, Callum, you go. You talk about this match.
This is by far one of my favorite matches of the year for storytelling, and I think the match itself was also just fucking awesome. Punk proving that he's not washed and can still wrestle. My God, is he great? Punk. I tweeted this out after this match. There's no wrestler in the world that has me hooked and fixed on a match more than CM Punk. He has this innate, I hate to use the word, but it's true with him. He has this innate aura about him that no matter what he does, you are fixed onto everything he does as a wrestler and a performer. Without any doubt, he is one of the best wrestlers to ever live. He is an insanely good storyteller. Even if you don't like the guy as a person, the guy knows how to work a wrestling story.
He's multifaceted. He knows how to make you cheer for him if you love him and make you boo him if you hate him. He can do both at the same time.
Yeah. He is just an insanely good wrestler, and this match was insanely good, and the story that they've built and is still going, and is seemingly going to go till Bad Blood. The story that they've crafted from Royal Rumble to now has been easily, for me, WWE's best feud.
Yep.
And that says a lot considering how good the feud between Roman and Cody was to make.
With the Rock involved as well.
With The Rock, yeah, exactly. But this, I think, for me, has been easily the best part about the company this year. And I think going into next year, when eventually this feud is done by Bad Blood, and when Seth does come back, hopefully by Rumble next year, if his injury isn't too bad, but it seems like it is quite bad. Hopefully he's back next year, and his feud with Punk will be a next layer onto this, with it being a great link to what Seth at the end of this match to Punk. We don't need you. This is my ring. This is my company. We don't need you here.
You know what's crazy? It's crazy what you were saying about Punk is that he's always been like this. His feud with Raven and Ring of Honor was like this. His feuds in, his first run with John Cena, with Brock Lesnar, with Bryan Danielson, with The Undertaker. There's so much about what he does that's captivating. With Jeff Hardy as well in 2009, it's another feud he did where everything he done, everything he says, everything in his matches, it's all so eye-catching. Then you go to his AEW feuds, like with MJF and with with Eddie Kingston and with Darby Allin, and like everything he does, and with Jon Moxley as well. Like, he's just such a captivating character. And what, like you say about when you watch his matches, it's like you're watching a movie and a character that you love is in a fight scene. It's like that. It has so, as you say, aura. He has so much aura about him. But at the same time, it's not exclusive to him, because I feel like Drew McIntyre is getting to that level as well. I feel like he is becoming one of those guys right now, especially this year.
This feud has done wonders for him in terms of him.
Yeah. Because that's the story. That's the thing that's different, is that McIntyre hasn't always had that ability like Punk has, but he's becoming like that. He's becoming like that now.
Yeah, this feud has done wonders for him with his heel turn at the beginning of the year.
Yep. And that whole thing on the press conference with McIntyre and Wade Barrett saying they're going to have a beer after to celebrate.
Yeah. And obviously the match itself is great, and for me it's the right winner. I think if Punk won, I would have not been happy if Punk won this match, because I don't think it fits with the story that's been told. Because eventually his loss of focus has to come to the forefront, and I think in this match, I think it was the perfect time to have him lose.
They definitely told a great story. With what they did. I also just, the sheer pleasure and evil satisfaction on McIntyre's face when he won and took the bracelet off him and just rubbed it in. It was just so, it was like this, I hate to take it this far, but it was like this really pure form of masochism as a fan, seeing that happen. This was amazing. Everything about this match was everything I hoped it would be, and then some. And
just something about Punk coming out in in the entranceway with Colt or personality playing. It's just, and him in a hoodie. It's just, it does something to me, man. Just has me hooked.
Yep. He's a total package. And I'm so unbelievably irate and livid with Vince McMahon that we lost so many years of this man in wrestling.
Yes, good 7 years.
Jesus Christ, man.
Especially during the time, during like 2016, especially, when like indie wrestling was becoming a lot more of the forefront and wrestling style. Him being
Yeah.
around for that time period would have been so interesting.
He had his UFC run, I guess.
He certainly did and got absolutely punked.
Yeah. But he did
As
write
you
some
would say.
he did write some Thor and Drax Marvel comics though. So that's nice for him.
I haven't read them.
Yeah.
Him as a wrestler is what I'm interested in.
Yeah, this is obviously his calling. This is his best stuff. But my god, what a feud, what a match. I can't wait to see what happens next with them. Like, when their next matches and what it
Well, they've got to
is.
have that Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Bad Blood is the perfect place to do a Hell in a Cell match, isn't it?
Yeah, and to cap off the feud. Well, you can have Punk
Yeah.
probably win that and
Yeah,
sort of really
maybe.
put the end to the feud, but you still have that inkling of like his eventual. I'm gonna wait for the day he turns heel, and I feel like we're gonna get that heel run that we were probably gonna get in AEW, but didn't happen because Jack Perry and Punk had a
Well,
fight backstage.
I mean, I guess, like, he was playing a little bit during the Kojima feud, but
Yeah.
the last time we got true heel CM Punk was against The Undertaker in 2013.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be like 12 years since he's been a proper full-on heel, and I'm waiting for that day.
And we know, he can be an absolute bastard.
Because there have been times where he's played heel or
He's
played
flirted with it.
the face in matches.
He's
Like his match
flirted with
with
it, yeah.
with Pentagon, I remember. Yeah, he was very much not playing the baby face in that match. It was it's just really entertaining. Punk as being sometimes being a bit of a coward at times is very entertaining.
Yeah. Well, as I said, the match he had with Satoshi Kojima at Forbidden Door, he was the heel in that match by
when he got elbowed in the dick.
That was fucking hilarious.
That honestly, that collision, that 8-week collision run.
11
Punk
weeks.
is so
11
good.
weeks.
Oh,
It was more than that. It was 11 weeks. Almost 3 months.
yeah.
From just before Forbidden Door up to Wembley Stadium, it was a magical time.
Yeah.
But the fact that he left then means that we get this here, and it's been worth it.
Hey, maybe we'll get that Stark match though in a couple of years on a.
Oh yeah, that's true.
On a Raw or something.
Ricky Starks for CM Punk. Oh my god.
Yeah, long term
Yeah, you want
storytelling.
to make Tony Khan's eyeballs explode.
They honestly probably will have a match at some point.
He wanted that
Playoff
match
that
so
history.
badly. Wanted that match to happen on his company.
Ricky will go and win the NXT title.
Literally
in a year's
1
time.
week. He was 1 week away from that match happening, and then he had to fire him.
Yeah, but he had a really good fucking match with Danielson with the great
That's true.
finish with the facials. Yeah,
That's true. That match was
and
amazing.
they didn't do anything with him since then because fuck Ricky Starks, I guess.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, the show doesn't end there because we got a promo from between Balor and Priest backstage. Again, more foreshadowing. And then we got another match that I absolutely loved. And this one took me more by surprise, this one. I don't know why it took me by
Yeah.
surprise, because it shouldn't, because these two guys are great. But I thought that Gunther versus Damian Priest was fucking glorious. I loved the shit out of this match. It was a violent slap fest. Priest made Gunther bleed from the breast. They kicked the shit out of each other. And then Finn Balor turned on Priest. Priest got him in a chokehold. There was also that moment when Gunther had him in the sleeper. We thought the match was over. And then Priest basically Super Saiyaned out of the sleeper. And it was the most epic thing. Oh, it was so good. I loved this match. I loved it. Regan, what did you think of Priest versus Gunther?
I thought it was great. Two big old meaty boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Yep,
fact
they-
that he bled. Oh my god. I'm slapping him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it was...
Gunther's
felt-
into that shit.
This, for me, felt like a martial arts match in terms of its style.
It really did, yeah.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his face turns on
Gunther
wonders
can-
for Priest.
Gunther can keep that title forever now.
Yeah.
I'm so glad when on Raw that Ludwig is back so that he could announce him.
That's true. Yeah.
Because no
but
one
yeah.
can announce him better.
I mean, what was it I said before about how about like Gunther's run through all the mid-carders with the IC title? Now he can have feuds with actual main eventers. We can see him face the big names on Raw.
Kind of weird that he's having a match against Randy because Randy's supposed to be on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Isn't there a
Raw
whole thing
for
that
a match.
they've made a special arrangement or something? I don't know if they said that on the show, but online I can't remember.
Well, they
They've
didn't
done
say
some-
anything on Raw. Randy Orton showed up.
They've done some shenanigans.
No,
Because
very
obviously,
good match.
I'm glad they're playing off the history of the fact that Randy's shoulder was up at King of the Ring.
Yep.
Honestly, a match between Randy and Gunther is something I'm very interested in seeing.
Yeah, a rematch.
So he needs to remember that Gunther is not actually from Germany and that he's from Austria.
Yeah, they keep saying that. I'm like, he's from Austria. I'm like, I thought he was from Austria.
So I think Randy assumes he's from Germany.
Well,
He's not German.
look, Americans are not very good with geography outside of their country. Let's
No.
not forget that.
No. They keep thinking we're in Berlin, so we're in your home country, all right?
I mean, to be fair, a lot of Americans don't even know all 50 states off by heart. So,
yeah, that's why everyone kept saying Drew was having a homecoming at the original Clash of the Castle in Wales.
I can name all 50 states, and I'm not even American. I can also name all
I thought Drew
46.
was the Scottish psychopath, but now he's just the Scottish warrior.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about Priest vs Gunther was the Straight Talk ad was too distracting. It was the big green square.
Oh yeah, it's big green.
Very ugly.
Neon shit.
Very ugly. But apart from
I
that,
thought there was
this
something wrong with the screen, but no, it was an ad.
it was just a very ugly ad.
distracting.
And oh my god, the face on Finn when Damien, like a smart person, looked at the screen and saw the replay.
This
Yes.
finish
The
was
face on
really
Finn.
good.
Yes, they actually
The
made them
face on
smart.
Finn,
He
just
looked at the
looking at him.
screen. He looked at the screen.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have known.
I think the
It's
way
like
they
the-
did
face
the
on
whole
Finn.
term was great.
It's like they actually did something that people have been saying for years. Why don't wrestlers do this? And then now they're actually doing it. It's smart.
Look at the fucking
The
screen and see-
whole finish, I think, is really well done from like literally the start to the end, with Finn putting the leg on the rope. And thank God he's Finn Balor, because literally anybody else doing what he did in the way he turned around would be really, really weird. But because it's Finn Balor, he pulls it off because he's insanely cool.
He has the face for like the evil pirate guy.
Yeah, and what
I love the whole
liked
thing of
about,
like it ties back to last year's SummerSlam as well, when Finn Balor was against Seth Rollins and Priest didn't
Money
help
in the
him.
Bank as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
year in the making. But yeah, I like
Now
the
with
fact that
wish
at
dot
first he
com,
didn't.
dot-
Yeah, at first he didn't realize what had happened. Saw the replay, then looked at Finn, who was slowly turning around with his facial expressions because Finn is awesome. Almost gets chokes out, but because they've built this babyface turn so well, him breaking out of it in the way he does is just so. It was so awesome. It was so
also-
cool.
There was also just a really nasty detail I noticed when Gunther was bleeding from the chest. He just wiped it on the floor. It was just something that only a heel would do. Like, it's such an asshole. Just put your blood everywhere.
But what I loved also about him getting out of it is that he immediately, almost with just blood in his eyes,
runs
just
for
goes
Finn.
straight for Finn. And that's
Yep.
why he loses, because he just, he's just full, like, blinded with rage.
Yep.
It's so good.
Yep. And I think Damian Priest will make a great babyface because he's so cool. Like, he's such a cool guy.
And he
Yeah, I think they've
absolutely
done
killed
great
JD on Raw.
Yeah.
Destroyed him on
Really
Raw.
great way to lose the belt.
I think I saw someone on online say like WWE's top like main event babyface roster is absolutely stacked at the moment. It's crazy how many they have.
They've done a really good job in turning people face
Mm.
in really satisfying ways.
And I think, actually, now that I realize it, the fact that they have so many top babyfaces is a good thing, because now Gunther is champion and now he can beat all of them.
Yep.
But yeah, this match was so fun. It was so good. It was so good. As I said before, I know I mentioned it already, but just that moment when Priest was in that sleeper hold and I thought he was done, and then he just powers out of it, is just so invigorating. It was great to watch.
This whole story was so well done.
Yeah.
And Gunther's world champion is a sight that I love to see.
Exactly. Do we want to talk about the Awesome Truth and the fucking
No, that was just a waste of time.
Grayson Waller Austin Theory Jelly Roll thing?
No.
I don't really have much to say. It exists. It happened.
R-Truth called them the Rock and Roll Express.
The one thing that is great about this segment is there's a sign during this that says A-Town Down Under are worse than literally the two fans next to me sign.
Yeah.
I don't know if you probably didn't see that, but I think that's very funny.
Yeah. I remember when Vince McMahon was grooming Austin Theory to be the next top guy.
Yeah. I mean, Austin Theory's a good wrestler. That's the thing.
I also like Grayson Waller. I think he's cool. I like Grayson Waller, but this is just stupid. Yeah, I don't know. Celebrity involvement in wrestling is always an iffy thing. Sometimes it can work, and sometimes it's just strange.
I thought it was a really good chokeslam, to be fair.
It was a good chokeslam because Jelly Roll's got a lot of meat.
Mainly because Austin Theory is a good seller.
Yeah, my God, that man is massive.
Yeah, Austin Theory can make anything look good. He's very
he
talented.
has one of the best stunners of all time.
Oh, and then they did a triple 5-knuckle shuffle, which I was just like, John Cena's not even there. What are you doing? Ugh. I know it's become R-Truth's, and it's become his move, but I don't care. We don't need references to their bloody capital punishment feud.
Thank God they dropped the belts finally.
Jesus Christ! Remember the capital punish feud?
Former tag champ.
John Cena, you and your little Jimmies. It's a conspiracy. This was before the pipe bomb, right before it.
Someone also had a sign that says, "Do a moonsault, Jelly Roll."
Yeah. Anyway, moving on, we have the main event of the show, which was Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa with all the interferences.
Not gonna lie, this is the one match I fell asleep on.
Well, to be fair, your time zone does not like main events of PLEs, though. To be fair. Whereas I watched this, at a reasonable hour.
You got to watch this and not feel sleep deprived.
Mine are good when they're in the States because they start at 7 o'clock in the morning, so it's very nice.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes got quite the entrance on this show. Not only walking Pharaoh, not only walking Pharaoh, who this is Pharaoh's last sort of big trip because she's going to stay
retirement match. It's Pharaoh's retirement match.
Yeah, Pharaoh's going to stay at home from now on, too old to go traveling. Yeah. And then we had an AEW talent appear on WWE TV, and that was Arn Anderson.
Is he still with AEW contractually?
No, he's not.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
No, this is literally the Codyverse is now in WWE.
The Codyverse. Oh god, this is
because because at WrestleMania we had Brandy, and now we've got Pharaoh, who's also part of that. Now we got Arn Anderson. So all we need,
who's left? Is Anthony Ogogo.
Fucking. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Full circle.
That's not gonna happen.
No.
He
Who
needs.
else
He,
was
need-
then there?
he needs. He
Well,
needs
before we weren't going
needs
to have
Fuego.
QT Marshall, but then he went back to AEW.
Yes, QT Marshall, but then Triple H didn't want him, so he went back to AEW. The other person would be Fuego del Sol as well. He was also part of the Codyverse.
Yeah. Do you think we are eventually at some point going to have that, and that would be the
Actually,
the turn?
there was one other person we forgot to mention. That's Dustin Rhodes.
Yes, when he eventually finishes up with AEW in the next year.
Now that
Because
would be.
he's coming back to the Fed. He'll come back to the Fed.
He does love AEW, but I think for Cody's sake, he would come back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And also, Hall of Fame as well. Like, he wouldn't say no to that.
Yeah, yeah, and our truth will induct him because
The Golden Truth.
Oh,
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
God, I
Anyway.
remember that era.
But anyway, seeing Arn Anderson on a WWE show was weird. It was very strange. But yes, I think this match was not as invigorating for me as some of the others were, and I think part of that is to do with that Solo Sikoa is a good wrestler, but he's not on the same level as some of the other elite talent on this show. And
have you seen the full clip of him yelling after the end of the match?
yeah, I have seen that. That was fucking hilarious.
What's your opinion on that? A lot of people think it's bad.
I mean, I guess they're just trying to echo. They're trying to do the same thing.
You're never coming back.
I think they're trying to do the same thing. Remember Roman after Money in the Bank last year? He screamed as well.
Yeah, but Roman, I think, is a better actor.
But that's because Roman Reigns has more gravitas, whereas Solo Sikoa is a bit more childish.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I thought this was a solid main event, and then the interferences happened, and that's when it got interesting.
Yeah, I literally don't remember anything from the match.
Well, Jacob Fatu got injured.
Yeah, but that
he
was in
really
kayfabe.
needs to
Thank
play that.
God.
Yeah.
Hopefully
his
he
leg.
hasn't actually hurt his leg, but he was planned to do that, which
I mean,
I think
it
is a very good way of keeping him out of the finish.
If you look at the replay, he whacks his shin on the edge of the table.
He does, but it's been reported that that was always going to be the case, that he was meant to sell his leg, so he wasn't a part of the finish. With
All right.
Roman, you save that moment.
I believe you,
Yeah, well, I think Sean said that.
Shawn
Yeah, it's
Michaels.
just that idiot Tonga Loa that keeps watching everything.
Yeah, he's the goofball.
But you know what? I'm very
Putting them
thankful
into
for.
the turnbuckle. do you mess that
He
up?
can't even hold a
And how
belt
do you
up,
mess
right?
And how do you mess up a low blow?
Yeah. The
It has
big
to be intentional
talking.
at this point.
Yeah, the big talking point of this match, though, is the return of the original Tribal Chief.
You know what I'm very happy about? That they kept his new orchestric version of his theme.
Yeah,
From
the
Mania.
WrestleMania version. Yeah, except they did a studio version of it as opposed to a live version.
Yeah, his theme as if he was a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah. But Roman Reigns is now, for the first time in 4.5 years, coming out as a babyface.
Technically, yeah, 4 years because he turned
4.5.
at SummerSlam.
4.5 years, yeah, since he came out as a babyface. His last appearance as a babyface was when he was facing off with Goldberg, and then COVID
4
happened.
years to the exact SummerSlam when he came back and turned heel with his brand new teeth. That's what I remember from talking about that.
Against with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, rest in peace. The Fiend.
Yeah. It's such a weird way to think about that. This amazing story came from that shit match.
You know what's so crazy as well is that the main event of SummerSlam 2020 was Braun Strowman versus The Fiend, and 1 year later Vince fired both of them.
Yeah. But finally, after over 10 years, 10.5 years, we finally have a babyface Roman Reigns that is actually good.
Since the Shield was the last time this happened. It's been so long.
Do you think he gets all big dog again at some point?
Please no. Please don't do that.
All of Tribal Chief.
It's cursed. The big dog is a poison
It is
name.
cursed.
the big
I
dog.
don't
Thank
need
God
it.
he's keeping his mannerisms as the tribal chief.
And
And
also,
they're not,
it's not
hopefully, yeah.
it's not cut and dry. He still has beef with Cody. It's not like they're friends, you know.
Well, I think from the angle at SummerSlam, there's clear mutual respect, but he does want his belt back one day.
Yeah,
after
they
he
still
deals with the
they're still
bloodline.
not. Yeah, obviously there's mutual respect, but it's not like he's gonna do it. He's gonna just be Cody's doormat or his
When
sidekick.
do you think they face for the belt?
I really don't know.
Yeah, I have no clue because it shouldn't really be at Mania.
I don't know
Because
when
I feel like that should be Roman and Rock.
I don't know
Or
when
Rock and Cody.
I don't know when Triple H is going to take the belt off Cody.
I think he is going to take it off him before Mania.
I think it could happen
in Germany.
I think it could happen at any time. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it could happen. I think I think it's probably where I feel like he can lose that at any point.
Yeah, I knew
Maybe.
he was gonna keep it until at least SummerSlam. Yeah.
Until Roman came back. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it could really happen at any
Now
point.
it feels like it could come from anywhere
Mm,
if they can keep reports quiet.
that's true.
Because do you think Rock wins it and goes into Mania as champion and Cody wins it back or something?
Well, my understanding is that I believe that Rock will face Cody next year, and then he will face Roman the year after that, and that'll be his last match.
Ever, yeah.
Yeah. I think Rock wants his last match to be against Roman Reigns.
I imagine he would, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it was
they
supposed-
eventually want to still do that match.
He probably intended that to be this year, but then now things have changed for arguably the better.
And then he got a really good heel turn out of it, so...
And also, that tag team match was great, and he was great in it, so, why not do some
Yeah,
more
because
stuff?
he slimmed down and put the work in.
And drank bottles of water every 5 minutes.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, fuck!
Some of the memes
When
that
you
have come out
fuck
of...
with the final boss!
Some of the memes that have come out of Dwayne.
Oh, that run was so good.
Yeah. Oh, some of the memes that have come out of his heel turn is
When
so,
do you think
so
he comes
good.
back? When does Rock come back? Does he come back this year?
I hope Survivor Series, and like, I know it's so, like, it was such a big ask, but if he was in the War Games match, that would be amazing.
Nah, he's not doing War Games. Are you crazy, brother?
Comes out last, does the least moves.
He comes out last. Rock
He
bottom,
literally-
pins Cody.
He literally does the Hogan.
He does the Kevin Owens at NXT, where he just comes out midway through the
true.
match.
Yep. Anyway,
there's-
Regan, your thoughts on Solo vs Cody and Roman's return?
Solo's music slaps.
It does. It's a rare
it's
Death
very
Rebel.
good.
I love his music.
It's a rare good Death Rebel song.
Yeah. No, the match was alright. I mean, I knew Cody was going to win, so... But... Yeah, it was alright.
But
6
then
Crossroads.
Roman's return.
Yeah, that was good. I don't know. I guess I wasn't watching it during all the Bloodline stuff, so I didn't really... Not that invested in it.
That's right. You missed a lot of that good stuff.
Yeah, I think I came back at a good time, but yeah, I missed all the Bloodline stuff. So, but
Well,
it'll be good to see.
A lot of the best stuff with the
Jimmy and
Bloodline
Dave
was late
Yeah.
2022 and early 2023, as well as 2020 as well. There was good stuff then too. Well, there was that weird period in the middle where he was facing Brock Lesnar way too much. I'm glad that ended. Jesus, that went on for a year, from SummerSlam 21 to SummerSlam 22. He was feuding with Brock.
Is that Farmer Brock?
Yeah, Farmer Brock.
I love Briefcase Brock.
The Boombox Brock.
That was fun. Yeah. I have a year.
Yeah. But I noticed there was a sign when Roman Reigns came out, someone was behind him with a sign that said Roman equals plus infinity aura.
Yeah, and he saw it as he was leaving, and he looked at it.
Yeah, he knows. He does have he has that smoldering expression. He does. But
As long as he's healthy, that's all that matters.
I mean, yeah, that's true, and yeah, I hope that he's able to stay in remission for the rest of his life. That, you know, his leukemia never comes back. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so kind of like what I said in the predictions, the real main event for me was Punk versus Drew. So this was never gonna compare to that. I also think that Priest versus Gunther was better than this too, as well as other matches on the card like Ripley versus Morgan, and yeah, and possibly even Knight versus Paul as well. Knight versus Paul was also really good. But you know, it's just, I just think Solo Sikoa he's just not at that level yet. Or at least he isn't at all. Like, he's a good wrestler, he can tell a good story, but he just isn't that elite level main event top guy. He isn't that. And that's kind of the missing detail. Now, if this was Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu, that would be a completely different story. But Fatu's only been in the company for a few months, so... yeah. But anyway, final thoughts on SummerSlam. Callum, you first.
Yeah, I thought SummerSlam was great. Really enjoyed it from start to finish. Really great wrestling throughout. I think this is sort of like the culmination of all the build-up Trips has done for months, and it has paid off. You know, long time storytelling is effective when done right, and I think this show is the key example of that. So yeah, I thought this show was great. Favorite match was obviously Punk Drew. I thought that was easily the best match on the card. Was not expecting 4 title changes. I was expecting Bayley to at least retain. That was probably the match I was banking on the most. But yeah, I thought this show was great, really good.
Yeah. Very good. Mr. Champ?
Yeah, no, same. I thought it was good. I really loved the opening match. That was probably one of my favorites. Just the, banging your shoulder into the announce table like that.
Yeah.
Good show. Very good show. Raw was good. The Raw after was very good.
Yeah.
As well.
I noticed a lot of people saying that Raw after SummerSlam is actually becoming better than Raw after Mania now.
Yeah, Trips needs to work on his Raw after Mania.
Raw was very good. Yeah, great, good pay-per-view. We got Bash in Berlin in 3 weeks.
We do.
Randy, Gunther.
Bash in Berlin, Bad
Cody.
Blood, and War Games. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And on the AEW end, we have All In at Wembley again, which is again another massive show.
Which I'm going to once again.
Yep.
I booked my tickets
2 years in a row. There's some big matches on that card. Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm also going on holiday for the next week, so I'm going to be nice and refreshed by the time we get to predictions for that.
Yes. But Regan is the champion, and All In is before Bash in Berlin, is that correct?
Yeah, we got 2 pay-per-views before Bash in Berlin.
So Bash in Berlin is 31st of August.
So All In.
Well, why not? Is it the same? All In and All Out will both be before Bash in Berlin, or was it?
All Out's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit longer than it was last year in terms of the gap.
Oh, I just assumed it was going to be the same week again.
So All In is 26th August.
Right.
And All Out is September 3rd. September 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay. Just after.
Okay, that's good. That's gonna be very.
Oh wait, sorry, no,
busy.
that's 2023. It's September 7th.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very busy couple weeks.
Yeah. So it's what is it? One.
So it's you two challenging me, and then me defending at Bash in Berlin, and then who knows for the one after that.
Yeah, so All Out is 13 days after All In this year, and as
2
opposed
weeks, okay.
as opposed to 7 days like it was last year.
Yeah. So they can actually build in 4 shows till.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, let's be honest though. Last year they got away with it. All Out was one of the best wrestling shows of the year, bar none. It was amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But regardless, yes, they probably should be sensible this time, and you have at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
Already a lot of matches on the card. There's 8 matches on All In.
so far,
Yeah.
you know what Tony Khan's like with his 15-match cards.
Another long show ahead for me from 5 o'clock till midnight.
4 hours on pay-per-view plus an hour on pre-show usually, if not an hour and a half.
It was 2 hours last year, so
It was, yeah, because they had the whole bloody, what was it, Jeff Jarrett calling you wankers.
no, we at first we had fucking Powerhouse and Miro signing a contract, and with Michael Oku, I think, in the ring, or was it Simon Miller? I think Simon Miller was definitely in the ring.
Yeah.
For that.
Funny you say Michael Oku. He's facing MJF soon at Rev Pro.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Facing
But,
tomorrow.
yes.
Oh no, today I think. I think it's today.
Yeah. That should be great. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed SummerSlam review. I bid you adieu, a good night, and a goodbye. Bang.